Good morning. I'm Bradley McCalister, Spiracraft Monday Methods. It's a wonderful Monday. I hope everybody's doing well. I see Art is in here. Good morning, Art. I see that I didn't click my Spiracraft Facebook page on to watch this so I could monitor that. So I'm going to do that while things warm up out here and people come in. Just a quick click over here in the control room. I think everything's working all good today. We'll find out shortly here. That's running behind. Let's see what's going on here. I had a little gremlin in my bit rate this morning, but I think I got that taken care of. We'll see. Oh, I can't leave that little hand there. That's going to drive me nuts. So let me walk over here one more time and move that little thing out of the way there. There we go. I think I'm set now. I'm set if everything's working. Let's see. What do you say, Art? Is everything working? Give me a thumbs up there. Say I can hear you. Looks good. Sounds good. All the good things that one on my end needs to know, since my producer, of course, is off today. I did read that I can, with a lot of electronic wizardry, get somebody to run this remotely for me. Something to think about. Hey, Joe, good morning. So yeah, it'd be kind of fun to have this run producer remote. I was reading, I'm thinking, my gosh, that'd be great. And then I looked at the technical aspect of it. Maybe it's not that hard. A little over my pay grade, but not too bad. Thank you, Joe, Joe. Thank you, Art, for letting me know that it looks good, sounds good, and all that good stuff. Magnolia piece today. This is going to be cool. It's kind of crazy. I think I'm going to turn on my fan. I need a little breeze. Let me show you. I've got this. I got played with the camera this morning because we're going to sharpen before we get going. Look at this. Look at this shot on the grinding wheel I got for you this morning. Well, I come over here and turn on my fan. Hey, Mark, my voice is out of sync. You sure it's me? I don't know. It could be. Could be your feed. I don't know. Anybody else hearing my voice be out of sync this morning? Like I said, I did have some bit rate issues that were showing, but it says it's okay now, 42, 44. I get a little yellow flash here and there. Mark, you may want to log out, go out and come back in and see if that clears up the audio or not for you. See if I stay behind. Anyway, I've got the camera set over here right now on the end camera for sharpening. It will do that here in a bit before we get going. This piece of Magnolia, if you read the post, I've had this piece about 10 years, and it's got wild and crazy grain going all through it. And that split's starting to open up a little bit more since yesterday. There's the pith of the piece originally. We've got the natural edge here and here. That piece of bark I'm sure we're going to peel off. It's pretty soft. This Magnolia gets pretty soft when it dries out, so we'll see how it goes. There's a little bark inclusion up in here close to that is a limb. That's not the pith, that's a limb. And then there's another one. Well, that's the pith right there. There's a limb. There's a limb. So there's a fair bit of wackiness in here, and here you can see, I don't know if you can see close enough. I don't have the camera zoomed in super tight. I may pull that camera in a little bit tighter. Sound is a little behind. Yeah, it may be one of those strange days. I don't know why. If it stays that way and if it's too crazy, we'll back out and come back in. I hate to do it because then it breaks the whole feed. Well, it was bigger. It was bigger yesterday before I started cutting on it with a chainsaw. It did get a little bit smaller when I cut on it with the saw, though. So I was gonna get around to knocking the corners off of this real quick, but I didn't. I got a couple other things I want to do this morning while I'm getting all set up in here. So I'm gonna set this off to the side for a second because I want to set up another chuck. I want to set up another Nova chuck. Set that down real quick. Bring out my board. I got one thing I can't talk this morning. Maybe I've had too much caffeine. Had a Nova order. I got to put a big shout out to the folks at Nova Technitool. Frank, good morning. I ordered supplies. I ordered product for Spiracraft, for the shop and online, and a demo piece or two for me. Ordered on Friday, right, as a vendor, and I got it on Saturday. Big shout to Nova Technitool. They ship to their dealers same day. If you get it in early, you get it the next day. It comes FedEx. Those guys are on the spot. I mean, I've got some vendors that have a mandatory 10-day hold on an order. Nova, they bust it right out. They put it in a box, and it's on your way. You get it the next day. So that's great. So I have here, and this is one I want to use out. I'm going to use out in the shop. This is a brand new. My brain is just fried today. It's just fried. It's the Supernova 2 ProTech. Still in the wrapper. So, not that I'm doing the unboxing kind of thing, but I just didn't get past that stage this morning. So this is not an unboxing. I just haven't got it out of the box yet. But I am super pleased. Let's see if I put that way. That shows to you like that. The ProTech is their newest line of chucks. They are real nice. One of the things, and as I pull this out, set the box over there, that I'm really curious to see here in the South is we have a lot of trouble with the plating. And now they have a brand new plating on their chuck. When I was down there last summer, actually it was May, they talked about how they put a lot of energy into getting a really good plating so that it doesn't lose its sheen and cleanliness. You can tell the ProTech's by the red back sealer in here. It seals the whole back of the chuck. Okay. And I'm going to get some paper towels out. This has got a little bit of packing grease on it. I'm going to wipe things down a little bit as I go, just to give it a clean up. And it comes with a set of 50 millimeter / 2-inch jaws. I'm going to put a set of 4-inch jaws on this today. And it needs an insert, which I happen to have here. And I'm going to leave this in the overhead if that's all right with you guys. While I set this up. But yeah, I was duly impressed, to say the least. And everything I've ordered for resale from Nova has come FedEx next day, which I think is just fantastic. In this day and age, and I'm going to pop up here for a second. In this day and age, we've got all the supply chain stuff going on. Everybody has trouble, and I get that. But for them to ship out to their vendors the next day, I can't say enough. I hope somebody from Nova pops by here and picks up on that. I'm really impressed. And all I can do is find the right Allen wrench for this set screw. Get this guy out of my way, just to where I can get a hold of it, because I'm going to take it all the way out. There we go. Get this guy put together with a set of 4-inch jaws on it, and we'll be rocking and rolling. I saw a little buffer up on the screen there. I hope it doesn't give me trouble today. I'm in the place. I'm not sure what it is. I've been recoursing. Hey, there's Rich. Rich, pass the word along. You guys are awesome. Nova busted this out to me. I ordered on Friday. Had it on Saturday. Here I am on Monday. Got my stock. And I'm getting ready, so I've been ordering supplies from everybody, product supplies, because the product showcase is this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm working on the landing page for that right now, trying to get that all set up. I was going to do some more work on Saturday with some of that stuff, and I don't know if you follow me on my personal page, but I had gone to a show in Augusta and got home at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I ended up sleeping on Saturday. I mean, literally, I slept all day. I guess I needed it. I had my razor knife out here earlier. I know it's a little distraction here, but hey, you know, how often do I put a chuck together? Yeah, Rich, the ProTech. So this is my demo ProTech for right here in the studio. Been meaning to put one out here for a while. Finally got around to it. Yes, Joe, they do have direct thread models as well. I just have been getting the insert models just for the flexibility. I can get either, provided it's in stock there, and it does change. But if it's in stock at Nova, then absolutely. And I'm not sure what I have listed on the website, to be honest. I will double check it. If I don't, and you're looking for a direct thread, if they've got it, Joe, just I'll bring it in. I have it for you, day after tomorrow kind of thing. So just let me know. Like I say, I've just been to be more versatile with stock to make sure I have things. I have been bringing in the insert models, but can definitely. Only the G3 has the direct threads. I'm pushing for direct threads on the. So the Supernova 2 does not have direct threads. Since Rich Boldeck, who is engineer at Nova, is in the chat column there, he has the absolute information. So there is no direct thread on the Supernova 2. Okay. So Joe, the answer is no. I can't get a direct thread on the Supernova. Rich, keep pushing. Keep pushing. I know some people say they think that you get more vibration, or you have a risk of more vibration with the insert. As my belief, and for what it's worth, if it's completely tightened up and locked down, I don't see an issue. Never had an issue. Rich, you can order a dozen of them. Yeah, I hear you, Rich. Okay. And the ProTechs are not numbered. Okay. So again, don't mind me. I'm going to pop this into the overhead. If they come up with an 1 1/4 8, Joe says, I'll keep you posted, Joe. I'll keep you posted. This is a nice chuck, nice size. I've got the another one over here. It's on the lathe right now. This has the 5-inch jaws on it, but I wanted to scale down just a little bit. For kind of this, I'm setting this up as my all-purpose chuck out here. Yeah, the slide doesn't matter as long as they're in clockwise order. I see what you're saying. So long as I put 1, 2, 3, 4 in the right order. So let me check that. I have to concede that I'm used to either checking, so that was 4. Must be one that's on there, so I'll put 2. That's 2. There we go. I like this handy dandy box. It's got all the stuff in it. I waited a year for, hey, I'm on the wrong one. That's not where I planned to be. I hit the wrong button. I know I've had too much caffeine today. I usually only have one. I had 2 today. But that means I'll be flying on this piece of Magnolia. So, Rich, we don't need the gory details, but I hope your foot's doing better. I'm glad you liked the picture of my foot surgery. Rich is laid up at home having a little recovery time after some surgery. Been there, done that, as I told him yesterday. To this day, I can't walk without shoes on. I can't stand on the bottom of my right foot. They took all the padding out of the big toe from a cyst. So that's why I wear flip-flops all the time, because they got lots of extra padding in them, and they're comfortable, and all that good stuff. So this piece of Magnolia, while I'm tightening these jaws up, this piece of Magnolia today, I don't have a plan for what I'm going to make out of it. We're going to get it up on here, get it true, get it round, look at it, think about it. See how it turns. Now, if you read all the way through the post, if I find out that it's super fragile, I may just go ahead and stabilize it, drop it into stabilizing chamber. So I would turn it to a size that fits in the stabilizing chamber. Because I turned it, like I said, this stuff, that piece is 10 years or more old. And I turned it a long time ago. So there we are, all set, ready to roll. Boy, that's shiny. Got our wrench down in here in the nice packaging. Bada bing, bada boom. Got a worm screw. Little handy dandy bag to keep it in. Okay, let's set this off to the side. My keyframes are down to 2.6. Check your encoder settings. Hopefully it's not going to be a crazy day with keyframes. All right, back to next thing we're going to do is going to sharpen. Before we even get to wood up here, I know my main tool of the day is going to be this 5/8 Carter & Son bowl gouge. So we're going to pop it into the sharpening jig over there and sharpen it up. Michael McEwen, good morning, buddy. Art says my chuck needs some dye on it. Now, Art, how long do you think it'll take before I get dye on there? A week, maybe 3 at the most. Okay. All right, so I'm going to switch you over to. Oh, and by the way, my finger has for the most part healed after I stuck it in the wheel last week, a week ago today. That thing hurt. I mean, it peeled my finger back from the fingernail when inadvertently I was trying to look at the monitor while the wheel was still spinning and point to it. Don't do that. I couldn't touch anything with the end of my finger. I couldn't tap on the phone. I couldn't do anything with it. It really hurt. So anyway, popping this into the overhead on the end camera down here. This is, and I got it zoomed way in, so you won't hardly even be able to see the jig because I got it zoomed in so tight. But it's the woodcut true grind jig, okay, that we worked with last week. Now I'm going to set my stick out over here because I still haven't been out here. I'm going to be out here in the studio all week this week, getting ready for the showcase, product showcase, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm gonna be kind of pushing that hard today, just letting folks know that I am doing the product showcase, even though I haven't started to advertise it yet. I will be very soon. I'm getting the landing page built where you can register for it. I'm gonna pop back over here for a second. The product showcase is going to be a live interactive, like a Zoom style. I'll probably use Google Meet or maybe Zoom. I haven't decided yet. But I'll be here. I did it in January of last year. It was a huge success. People loved it. So this time, that was just one day. This time it's going to be 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 11 to 11, 12, 1, 11 to 1, and 2 to 6, or 3 to 6, 11 to 2, 3 to 6. So the West Coast can jump in. Going to be bringing vendors in. It's going to be a great time. So I'll be out here for 3 days, be like my own little symposium, all about using the products. Again, in the live interaction where we can talk, have a conversation like we do on Thursday nights and all that good stuff. So again, I'm using the woodcut jig. I've set my stick out. I'll double check it again. And I just want to freshen this up. And it's not too bad. You can see one little, I got you, like I said, I've got you zoomed right in here today. There's one little flat section up in there. But I wanted to really get in close for you this time. This is how I got in trouble, trying to look up at a monitor and not where I was working. And you can see one little section right back here, way back on the back of the wing that wasn't cleaned up before. All right. But I'm not going to stick my finger in it today. I promise myself. Clean this up just a little bit. I need to put a stick out jig on here because things are just a little different than last week. Blend right around on that. I'm going to turn that off. Bring that right up in here where you can see it. Try not to look at two things at once. You can see that nice. See that way back on the wing there? And I got a little hook in that top. I'm going to fix that hook a little bit. Because I hit that wing pretty hard. A little bit more. We don't want that hook on the nose. Much better. All right, now I'll try and do this again. I'm going to have to put a monitor right in front of me over here behind this wheel. I got plenty of them because I'm looking all the way across the room. Okay. So there's a good looking tool. Rich, can I ask a favor of you? Yeah, sure, Michael. Or Michael's asking Rich. I'll stay out of the conversation. Leave me out of it. And I'm going to sharpen up another tool here real quick while I'm at it before we shift the things over. And all the products that Spiracraft carries will be on sale. In the product showcase. So that's going to be cool. Okay, so those are all spindle gouges. So I'm not going to sharpen this one up right now, but I want to show you this. I have a 1/4 inch Carter & Son. Get it right there. Set up as my little bottom feeder. And I'm watching it show up in Facebook as well. So I'm going to go to work on this one. I've got another one, another Sorby. But I'm going to have work on this one as my little, I like a little 1/4 inch bottom feeder. YouTube commercials? Who's seen YouTube commercials? That's bizarre. I can't see YouTube either. I'm going to set up another monitor for YouTube. I've got in theory, I've got the bandwidth. So I do want to clean up a 1/2 inch. So Carter & Son 1/2 inch. I haven't had this one over there in a while. I have a whole bunch of stuff coming in from Woodcut out of New Zealand. Order went in last week. Tools, jigs, coring setups, proform hollowers, the carving jig, the carving bench mount, the whole gig. I got all kinds of stuff coming from them. Okay, all right, back over to the grinder here. And we're going to work on this little 1/2 inch for them, 3/8. If it was in the Sorby world, it needs a little work. Rich, Spiracraft, what was the question for me? Oh, I thought I saw something about people talking about not Facebook. Ads popping up in YouTube during the stream here, and I don't see. I don't have a YouTube monitor set up in here yet, so I don't see them. Now I have no idea what this was ground at a long time ago. This is one that was out on the road. So we're going to bring it back around into shape here a little bit. And you can see we're not even touching the top, so the angle has changed. I'm going to blend this with Roper's in Costa Rica right now. And he reground a bunch of my tools at SWAT 2 years ago, and this one's been in the drawer ever since. So I'm going to say that Roper changed my tool on me. So this one needs a little bit more work. Now this is an 80 grit wheel I'm on, so it takes it off pretty quick. And you can see here that I'm working away that shiny section right there. That's what still needs to go. I know for the longest time, whenever I sharpened, people would ask me what, to show it. So I've got one more camera to set up. I don't have to change these. Just haven't got there yet. Matter of fact, I've got a whole plan for new cameras in here. And I'm going to change this thing right here a whole bunch. Catch it up with the other side. So I'm looking across the top of the tool to give you an idea. I know you won't be able to see close, so I'm going to let that cool off. I'm looking across the top of the wings as I'm grinding that, sharpening that. And I actually am grinding it right now. I'm not sharpening it. I'm changing the profile. So maybe if I do it in overhead, you can get the idea right across the top here. I know it's hard to see because of the colors. Not close enough. I'm afraid to get over here with this spinning, but I'll do it. For fear of sticking my finger in here. So the right-hand wing was much taller than the left-hand wing. And so that's why I was just moving a lot of material away from that right-hand wing to bring it into shape with the other. There we go. There's the picture I was looking for. Oh, they're just about uniform now. Okay? They were way out of whack. Now I am setting this up like the other tool. I just want a smaller, lighter version of the same grind. Especially for this wood, because I want something real light to work with for a super light, delicate touch. We're getting close. Blending the nose into both sides. Okay, so I'm fairly happy with that. We'll take a look at it. I might take a little bit more off that nose while it's spinning down. Okay, cool beans. So a little sharpening out of the way. This wood is pretty soft. It should last us a pretty good while. If I decide I need to get back in there and sharpen again, I will. I don't know why that was on the... I was on the overhead camera that whole time. I apologize, guys. Note to self, only one big shot of caffeine in the morning, not two. On Mondays. We've got some new handles coming from Woodcut. I mean, I love, don't get me wrong, I love these aluminum handles from Carter & Son, but also have some smaller and larger handles coming from Woodcut. The ones that work with, there's a tool you haven't seen yet that I've got coming. It's called the little cup tool of theirs, and I'm going to be doing some fun things with that. It was designed as a hollowing tool, but you can do a lot of different things with it. Question is, how long will it take my shipment to get here from New Zealand, even though it's coming air freight? That's going to be the big question. We'll find out. Okay. And I'm going to move some of these tools around in here so that I can get to these two tools quickly without having to hunt for them. In my rack. All right, where am I at? I'm in the studio, ready to go. Tools sharp, that's out of the way. All right, let's get this chuck off of here. Get this piece of wood mounted up and start to get going with it. Like I said, don't know what I'm going to make out of it. We'll figure that out as we go. If you weren't here before, here's a quick shot of it again. This is Magnolia. Now you can see this bark inclusion right here, and I'll show you here on the front, this bark inclusion. We're going to go ahead and pop that off because we know it's loose. It would have just flown off anyway, so let's get that out of the way. Okay. Here's the pith right here. This little crack is starting to show up more. That is a bark inclusion there. It's kind of round, but not perfectly, so it's going to vibrate, but we'll get this guy rounded up. Question is, how do we want to mount it up? I think I'm going to go ahead and faceplate this guy. I'm going to put a faceplate on the bottom, on the back end here. I've got a 3-inch sitting here. Okay. Even though this is where my tenon's going to be, I'm going to run some 1.25" number 10 screws into this. Because I've got so much here, and here's why I'm doing this. See this pith, this big pith right in here? So I know that I want to take a lot of this away. So I'm not worried about these screws. And they're going to be partially in the tenon and all that. And this is just a ballpark center, as I just eyeballed it when I first set it up in the first place. These are 1.25" number 10 square drive style screws. I'm really looking forward to being out here all week. I've been saving up pieces and parts for quite a while to upgrade around out here. All I gotta do is find my driver now. I took it out the other day. Be my luck, I forget that I do these things. And the question is, where did I put it on myself? Sometimes my level of organization just flat out embarrasses me. But I did find the driver that I was looking for. I was putting new wires in. I was changing out all the wires today on the cables because I've been having some keyframe issues. After the stream, I go in and I check a report, and it shows me how many keyframes I dropped and all that kind of stuff, which is what you see as buffering. And so I replaced all 3 camera wires this morning with the latest HDMI wires. So I'm hoping that is, if it's not there. I still was having trouble with the keyframes a little bit, so I went in and rebooted the router that's running the system. I'm chasing the bugs. We'll find it. And then there's an upgrade in cameras coming in the future out here. All right, so we're just going to zap this guy in here. Again, these are number 10 1.5 inch. So let me pop you in the overhead. Number 10 1.5 inch. It looks like a Phillips, but it's actually a square drive. This thing's so far out of being round that I'm not going to worry about it too much. Let me back this one back out. I had hoped to save you the trouble of having to watch me. Hey, there's my dad. Good morning, Dad. You're on Facebook, Dad. You didn't make it into YouTube. I was trying to save you guys the agony of watching me get this round, just for sake of time. I know it's kind of boring, but I was pulling wires, so I didn't get there. Although I had hoped to. We've got plenty of time. What do we got? 11:44. Again, this will be one of those days where we just kind of cover a lot of things. So we covered setting up a new chuck. We covered some sharpening. We're going to get this guy around. And because I don't have a plan, that's going to be part of it, I think. I want to take it through my logic process, if that's the word for it, on what do I want to do with this thing. Once we get it cleaned up and round and look at it, do we want to make a hollow form? Do we want to make a bowl? Do we want to make it natural edge? Do we want to make it normal in a regular? Just what do we want to do? We don't know. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like. You guys know I love to experiment. One of the things that will be kind of interesting is this area in here. I mean, that's a big, big void. So it's kind of calling out for a weird natural edge, which I'm all about. And while I'm on the overhead camera, I'm going to adjust the end camera now, since we're done sharpening, at least for a while. Get it adjusted around. Right about there, give or take. So when I upgrade to these pan, tilt, zoom cameras, PTZ cameras, which I've been studying, then I won't have to do this stuff anymore. It'll be pseudo remote. Pseudo remote. All right, now let's fix. Kind of got it at an angle there, but that's okay. And lock this. Change this focus. Get the focus out of here. Get it squared away. These are cameras from the road. They have served me well. That picture looks okay. So yeah, that'll work. We will see us working in there. Okay. Yeah, studying a variety of upgrades that are coming. Get that out of my way. Get my super clean mask out. I'm having fun today. Even if it's a bit, I wouldn't say it's scattered today, just doing different things. That's why it's called Monday Methods. We covered lots of different methods. Hey, my mom made it in. We got the family affair going on. So also here I have, I do have a Sorby step drive in here as well. A few more teeth, a little extra grip. This wood is soft grip and it won't drill a big hole in it. Get the tool rest out of the way. Let's take a look at our first theoretical speed here. Hey, that's better than I was expecting. So we went past the first shake. We were up around 540, 550 now. I know I see a little vibration there in the overhead, but she smoothed out. So that's about 575. Much better than I had anticipated. And to give you an idea of what she looks like in the ghost image on the end right now. So you can see back in here. You see my hand back behind the wood. That's for all that's missing. Okay. And here's what she looks like turned up front. Not too bad. You know, it's not that far out. It's just got corners on it and all. Okay. So the first mission is to get this guy around. Now, we could use carbide tools. I did sharpen up those bowl gouges, and that's what I'm going to choose to use today. So I'm going to come around here and make sure that everything is all nice and snugged up, just to be double sure everything's good. Okay. Super duper flip mask into the overhead. A sip of water for me. Looks like I got the camera where you can just see the tool on the edge. I'm going to clean off my mask here real quick. Last stuff I turned was wet. This is super dry. Gonna be very dusty. I wish I had my dust collector set up in here today. Like I said, this wood has been drying for 10 years, and it's Magnolia. So it's going to be soft. The grain goes every direction, kind of all over the place on this. Here is my big opening. So I am going to start from the right-hand side and work my way left, just to kind of clean up into the opening to get this round, so I'm not coming into these, catching these corners here as they come down. Okay. In this lathe, I dropped the tool rest all the way down for right now. Zip up the jacket. And I'm just going to work my way across. Nice and easy. stop, move my tool rest in. No more overhang than necessary. Now it's going, because it's turning slow and this wood is soft, it's going to tear out real bad. You'll see that. That's to be expected at the moment. And to a degree, it may do that the whole time because of the nature of the wood. Get back out here on these big corners. Stop and we'll move in. So like I say, it's going so slow it's tearing it out, but we can see where we're at. We're going to grab a little speed here if we can. Shakes the building a little bit. And if that's not too bad in the overhead, and it's not, we picked up 100 RPM there to get us a little bit better cleaning. Question is, can we go more? 700 smooths out a little bit. 725. Going for 750. Do I hear 750? $760. Okay, we'll stop at 760. You'll hear a noticeable difference in the way the tool cuts and the sound of it cutting. We'll get a better, cleaner cut. Now it's much more coarse out here or bumpy because there's a big void. Alright, let's take a look and see what's going on. So we're getting close to round. You can see the end grain tears out horribly. Face grain doesn't really tear out so much. Alright, we've still got some flats here. We've got a little ways to go. Like I said, this piece is going to be a lot smaller by the time we get done than it was when we started. You probably saw my face mask in the way there. Let's go downhill with this. Trying to get rid of all the flats just so we can start to make a determination of what we want to do. Alright, so that takes care of all the flat spots, and that's the one that we just now got rid of, right in here. You can see that. So this transition from a flat right here to round is that's just now taking place. Okay? Like I said, we got a limb here. We got a limb here. We got pith there. We got some craziness. I love it. I love crazy wood. I think when I develop my line of tools, I'm going to call them crazy wood tools. What do you think, guys? Good name for a set of tools, crazy wood tools? That'll get you talking. All right. This is a gnarly piece of wood with these knots in it and all that stuff. What do we want to do with this guy? And the grain, like I say, the grain just goes all over the place. I'm going to come back here to the back. And I know I keep promising you the back camera, the back end camera, which I don't have in place yet, but I will one of these days for you. And we're going to start to clean this up a little bit. It's pretty rough. Change hands. So what I'm doing here is just cleaning up the bottom of this. So surprisingly, wrong button, Brad. Surprisingly, this wood's actually a little bit harder, more dense than I thought it would be, for its age and the type of wood, which is good. That gives us more options with it. Again, the question now it's time for me to start thinking. What do we want to do? And let me pop you into the end camera from this other end. So we have this void here, this natural edge over here. We have a little bit of one here. This top isn't flat in any way, so that would change. A bit of that would go away. Yeah, Art, the Crazy Wood tools will be from the Crazy Wood Turner at Spiracraft. That's correct. That is correct. So I need to start thinking about what do I want to do. I mean, it's round now, so now it's decision time. What do we want to make? What do we want to do with it? All those good things. I'm open to suggestions. Michael says, I think experimental wood tools would be more appropriate as they would be in continuous state of flux with new development. Well, that's a good point too, Michael. Experimental wood tools. Because I am always experimenting. I am always in a state of flux, both here in the studio and in life in general. So that might be kind of fitting too, as a designer of things. Experimental. I'll think on that. Not happening anytime soon, so we've got plenty of time to think about this. Oh, what do we want to do? Tell you what, let's do. Let's try and clean this up a little bit better, which is going to be tricky, and take a look at this grain some more and see if we can come up with an idea of what we might want to do with it. So I'm going to pop you back into the overhead, and I see my wire fell down there from the vibration. Keith Marshall says hollow vase. Yeah, Scott, it does have a hollow form all over it. It does have hollow form all over it. With this particular piece, uphill and downhill is kind of a moot point because it's uphill and downhill going all over the place. So that gave me a pretty clean cut right there. I dropped my handle down, was cutting at about 11 o'clock in more of a shearing cutting style. Again, so here we have limb, 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 3 limbs at what we are thinking is the base. There's the pith. This grain is coming around both ways here. This grain is coming down. Goes all the way around each limb, which is why I say the grain goes in all directions on this crazy thing. There's not any one particular given direction. I'll take my big tool, I'm going to knock the top off of this a little bit. Come on here on the end camera for you. Get this kind of squared away. Just so I can see what I've got to work with. So if you notice what I've kind of done with the 5/8, it's what I've been kind of using as my Dad, you're on YouTube, yay! I've been using my 5/8 as kind of my workhorse tool, and then the 1/2 inch is kind of my cleaner cutter. So I'm saving that real nice sharp edge. I got shoes on today, and I didn't hit my foot. Keith, this is, the wood is Magnolia. Okay? So, and it was a big Magnolia tree, and my dad may be able to help me if he can remember where we got this. It was a huge Magnolia. I want to say we went down to Atlanta and got this tree through a club function, like I say, a decade ago or so. Okay. My famous words. Okay. Okay. Pop you in the overhead, though, it's 4. I'm just cleaning up this top edge here, just to get a good look at everything. It's crazy. This grain comes around, up, down, back up. It's wild. Now, if we make a hollow form out of it, think about this for a minute. If we make a hollow form out of it, we have, let's say, one open natural edge here. We won't have it. That'll be one-sided open. This one here, this one would get turned away. Oh, this came from North Main and Jasper. Okay. That's why I figured you'd remember better than I did, Dad, where we got this stuff. What am I on the end? And so then we've got this big hole, this gap here. Now I could make this the bottom and we just take that away as a hollow form. It's got some really cool grain, and I know I can't zoom in. It's super, super tight right here. I wish I may be tempted, because I want you to see this. The growth rings matter of fact, I'm going to do this. We got all day. We don't have it. Well, we don't really have all day, but we're not here to try and have a finished piece. We're here to experiment and make an assertion about what we want to do. So I have to get up on a stand because I don't have a remote on this. And I'm going to turn it off. I got to adjust the camera. I got to turn off the manual locked focus. And I'm going to bring you right down in on this guy, if I want to go the right way. Look at the growth rings. Get that camera to stay right there. If I can hold my hand still. Look at the growth rings just below that opening. And then look how they open up as we go down. I knew you couldn't see that. And if I let go of the camera, it'll go out of the way. It'll go away from that. I'm trying to hold it still for you. Oh, let's get out of there. There we go. Anyway, I just wanted you to see that. That's pretty cool. Let me lock that back in now. There we go. So it's kind of interesting. I'm trying to think about how do I kind of keep that feature there, or what would I do? How would I want to go about trying to keep that feature? And I'm gonna pop back up here. I'm looking at this and I'm kind of tempted. I'm torn. I don't want to lose that because I know if I turn this away, and it's right in the center, so I could make the piece fall away both ways, and keep that as a highlight. And I could take that away, have those limbs in there. If I carve that away, this is. I'm thinking. I'm looking at the piece and trying to think the steps ahead. What would be left? What do I take away? What would be left? Things like that from a standpoint of the design, the shape, the form of the piece. And I want to just like leave it as a cylinder almost. So maybe just a little bit of shape into it. Just a real slight. We'll make it hollow. Maybe I want to get it on a tenon, which I could do back here on the back and get it off this off these screws. Grecian pot shape, fat bottom. Yeah. So I think I'm going to just kind of roll this piece over a little bit off the top. We can roll all the way into the top. Let's do that, and we'll watch, and then we'll play with the bottom. We know where we're going to make our tenon there. So let's go to the front end camera up here. And we'll start to take away this sharp corner here. Bring it in and see what it does with our profile. Give me a big one. Clean this up all the way in here. Let's reach a couple inches over the tool rest. Not bad with a 12-inch handle. I do like the smell of it. So it starts, pretty soon we're going to make that's going to go together. A little mildew there, that one's going away. Now, interestingly enough, what could be kind of fun to have, this would turn into a hole. This would be a spot on the side because this is coming together. Excuse me, there we go. As I take this in, these 2 points are getting closer and closer together. So we could have a divot on the side there. And that brings that super tight grain, rolls around this area. So let's go ahead and bring these 2 points right here together and see what happens. Go back to a different tool. We're kind of probing here, for lack of a better term. You're thinking bottom where I'm thinking top. Kind of like that. We could make a window out of that. Now that would be cool. So think with me here. If I take a little bit more of this away, I make a hole, or I leave this, and then when I take the inside out, this becomes a window into the piece with just a band up here at the top. Anybody following what I'm thinking here? If I make this the top, make this the bottom, which is what I'm thinking of doing, I make a window right through the side of the piece, a natural edge window right through here. So when I take that inside out of this, that becomes a window with this natural profile and that funky grain around it. Anybody following my crazy logic? Or are you just thinking I'm just crazy? I'm fluid, Michael, I'm fluid. I'm just always playing with ideals. So we have to leave enough material here, or create enough material here so that there's something there to take away to show that. And we want to keep this, so we don't want to do too much there. So I'm going to come over here. See, read what Keith says. You make that window either top or bottom unless it's missing something. Yeah, I don't think... I'm thinking about making it the top. That way you could look inside. Theoretically, if we made it the bottom, you'd have to look up into it. Where if I put it on make this the top, then when you look at it, you could look down inside the holoform from the side. Does that make sense? So what I think I want to do is I'm going to clean this profile up right in here. I just got this big edge here. And Michael says top window. Yeah, I'm going with top window because that makes this grain around the hole be a feature. And I don't know what it's going to look like. I could put some sealer on it. I started to run out to the warehouse this morning and I ran out of time. I was going to get some sealer, clear sealer, so we could see what this grain looks like. But I can always spray some lacquer on it because I'm going to turn it away, and it wouldn't hurt the finish anyway. But I think I'm going to smooth out this hump right in here, take some of this mass out, make a tenon. And now, it's going to be a weird shape. It's not going to be your classic holoform shape, but hey, I make a lot of weird shapes, and I don't apologize for them. Some people don't like my weird shapes, and that's okay. I have fun, which is what I'm supposed to be doing, and trying different things. Because all of a sudden, I have a feature here now that I have to try to work with, or I want to try to work with. I don't have to. I could turn it all away and make it the same old every day. But I want to try and make that a feature. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. So I'm going to take a little bit of this away and watch what happens down below here. Start to take some of this off and see what happens. Yeah, I got the screw holes at the bottom, I know. So they're probably going up in there, half to 3/4 of an inch. 3/8 of that's going to be tenon. So I'm just going to take this little hump away here. There's no telling what we'll find down in here. Just fighting those knots. Nothing like 3 knots right in there. Got some interesting color popped up there. What time is it, by the way? 12:22. Okay. So that, I'm playing with that. That puts that right on the edge of that profile. And the only way you can see that is if I go out front here. So you can see where the hole is right on the edge there, looking against my black jacket. So it still kind of has one of the traditional shapes to it with a hole in the side. And of course, this crazy grain. I love this grain. It's just all over the place, as they say. All right, back up here. This thing is kind of a mess with knots and all. We'll leave some of this kind of as our base to work with where we make our tenon. We've got cool knot holes or wormholes down in here and stuff. This is the most kind of fun I have. This is a quintessential turning for me. This is why I turn, to have fun, to experiment, to play with different things. It's just fun. It's rewarding. I'm making it for me. I'm not making it for anybody. And I like sharing it. It's good fun. Just thought I'd say. All right, back overhead. Let's go back to work. I got a lunch date today with my wife. I got to go get that haircut that I didn't get on Saturday because I was asleep. Okay, so that's starting to take the kind of that, I know it's not the greatest shape in the world again, but, you know, like I said, I want to leave that window in it. I think we're going to turn it, we're going to go ahead and make the tenon. This is the shape it's going to be. I may turn this around, though. Let's make this tenon. Let me quit gabbing about this and that, and get set up for my tenon here. One of the fun things that I'm going to do, at least, and I hope it makes it kind of interesting, is the front camera that you're watching with right now is going to get replaced with a tracking camera, so that it'll track. So when I come over here to grind, and then I switch cameras, and if I come over here, whichever way I move, it's going to track around. I was studying the cameras at the show the other night, and had a great time. I spend more time looking at the electronics down in the control area at a concert or an event than anything else until it starts. And even then, I have to concede, I was trying to zoom into the controls with my cell phone to see what kind of software they were running controlling the show. That's just me. If that might help you understand a little bit about how my brain functions. I keep dropping tools everywhere down here. That's how I lost my favorite calipers, I think. Which I haven't replaced with anything yet, so I'm using inside-out calipers, which do the trick. So essentially that, right to that faceplate, maybe an eighth off of that faceplate, is going to be my tenon. Okay? And then we can turn that away. We turn it around so we can play with that. All right. Now I'm going to switch tools just because it makes life easy. And I'm going to grab a mid-size, wherever you went, mid-size carbide tool to pop in here and make this tenon. Easy wood tools, rougher, CI2 carbide style square cutter tool. Set it right center axis, and I'm going to use this just to buzz right in here and make this tenon, start to set that up. Now it'll be just back here in the back corner on the left hand side for you guys. Stay just off the steel right there. Alright, I need to check the depth of these jaws because they're new to me. See how they register relative to my tool. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to take my cutter tool. And so these jaws are deeper than I usually use. I'm used to using. The easy wood chuck, I would stop right there, but I've got a little bit more to go, so I have a little bit of luxury there. It's always nice to have a reference point. All right, without crazy jigs and stuff, I just like to use the tool. Okay, so that should just about do the trick. We'll clean that up when we turn. Oh, we're going to turn this around and get this thing trued up. It'll be a little tricky because I didn't truly mark the center, but we'll figure it out. Okay, now a little dovetail action here. Right up to the steel out here just to help me clean that up. Okay. Now I'm going to play with this shape a little bit more while we're still here, now that I know where that's at. Grabbing myself a little more speed. Switched over to my sharp tool, the one that I haven't been working with. So let's see what kind of cut I'm getting there as I take this away. Pretty clean. Go back to my bigger tool. I got some I want to move some more mass out of here. I might leave a base on it like that. Who knows? Like I said, I'm kind of playing still. I want to check. Where's my window here? I want to get into my window. There's my window. Okay. I won't refine this shape for real until we turn it around or put it in the chuck. Yeah, should be a little goofy, but she'll be fun. Hey, 1, 2, there's our knots. At least our knots are getting smaller down in there. Okay. Let's come out of this face shield for a little bit. How we did on time? 12:34. Okay. All good. Clean up the top while we're here before we turn it around. Just because I keep saying turn it around, we're not going to turn it around. We're just going to put it, well, we're going to turn around and clean it up, but then we're going to put it just right back like it is. Just felt like cleaning that up. All right. It's not quite as dusty as I was afraid. It's kind of, I mean, it's pretty dusty, but it's not quite as dusty as I was afraid it was going to be. Which is good. Dust and electronics don't go well together. Come on. There we go. That's why you don't see me sand in here. All right. So if anybody's got any kind of questions while you're still hanging around in there, while I'm changing this out, feel free. Pop them in there. In the column. Again, looking forward to Friday, Saturday, Sunday with the product showcase where you can actually, I don't have to run the tailstock in the marked center if it'll fit, yeah. I actually have a little center tool, if I can find it over here, that I'm going to use. So I'll leave those two in. If I can find it and it's the right size. See, this is the Carter Products center finder. And if I actually had something that was perfect size with a point on it, I could actually center mark that as well. Something that was ground to a point. That'll work. Ow. Quite possibly. Nope, not quite long enough. Novel idea. I don't know, the top. Well, the top is, it's got a mark. Right, it's right in the center there. It's a little teeny dot. I can see it. This won't be perfect, but this will get me in the neighborhood. Because I want to see how bad the bottom of this looks. How much do I have to clean it up? See, because what I could do, if I really wanted to spend the time, I could put my jumbo jaws on here and center it up with the buttons. And I have my center right there that I just punched, which is right there. So that locks that in. That might clear the way I cut this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my chuck. I'm going to put it on here and see if it sits like it's supposed to or not. If it doesn't touch the bottom, even with my excess, I'm actually all good. What did I measure? Too much caffeine today. Goomba. I'm in between. That's kind of crazy. Well, what did I did? Unless I used... What did I do? Don't know what I did. What was I thinking? Oh, I went to there. Oops. Hey, don't you love it when you mess up? That's why we have more trucks around here. And jaws. Let's see what we've got. This one is 4 3/4 in there, and that one's only 3 3/8. But I got stuff all over the place here. We might make this guy work. The jaws are a little rusty. But that'll work. We'll mount this up and see how it goes. So much for my new ProTech. I was in some other world this morning. Operator error, yeah. You get that. That's what happens when it's live. See, I can't edit that out. I mean, I could, but I won't. Because it happens. It happens to everybody now and then. Of course, Bridget will say, hey, how did it go today? I go, horrible, honey. You should have seen how much I messed up. I totally flubbed the tenon in the wrong size for the jaws I measured. Blah, 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 blah. So on and so forth. But it's all good in the end. I do need to change out. This was my bad. This is the easy wood chuck, and you can see these jaws rusted. I left them in a piece that I was doing. I have almost every set of jaws that Nova makes with a chuck for every set. Yeah, Michael. I know I could have rooted around or changed jaws, but I just faster to grab another chuck that fits. It was my bad that I left these jaws in a piece that I was doing rustina on, the Chromacraft rustina, and I rusted up the jaws. So that rust is on me. And that's just fine. That works. Life is good. So now I can play with, I don't know how the camera got so zoomed in there. I guess that's where I left it so you could see that one side. So now I can just play with this shape to my heart's content and then take a little bit, it's 1243. I was starting to think if I want to take the inside out at all and show you and run long, because I'm not really done with the outside. But I could open that up. Take that away. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to save it and play with the outside for a little, just for the rest of the day. That way, because I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sold on the shape that I've got sitting here yet, and so I don't want to jump in there and take wood out of the inside when I'm not sold completely on this profile. Matter of fact, I know I'm not sold on it. So I'm not going to take anything out of the inside today, but at least we were able to determine what direction we were going with our window and all in here. And so that's a good thing. Notice I just go right on past that part about, you know, making the tenon the wrong size for the jaws that I had in mind. You just got to let it roll. Roll right on. All right. Let's do a little fun refining here. Thinking out loud. I'm going to pop you back into... Let me see when this is spinning. Yeah, that works. Let's just work on this profile to wrap up the day here. Back up around 1,000 there. That gets the jingle out of the jaws, so to speak. Well, it did. And let's see what we decide we want to do with this guy. Gonna have a little fun right here. If I can pull it off. There's a big shadow in here where I can't see. Basically, I spindle turning with the bowl gouge. And you see, you get those nice wispy shavings coming right off of there. I'm just kind of fooling around right there. One thing that's nice, and I'm, like I said, just kind of having fun with this wood. Is I know I'm going to carve this away, so why not have a little fun and practice with some of your cuts? Try different approaches, different angles. A piece of wood like this, you have different issues to deal with. Now I'm not done up here, but I just wanted to play with this profile down here a little bit. So Mike McEwen, did you go and spend some time with your woodcut pro form after last week or week before? Have you got that figured out and all dialed in? Alright, let's go up here and work on this crazy corner. Try and decide a little bit more about what we want to do. I got these chips, I'll try and get those chips out of the way. I'll take my super duper new air compressor. Well, not new, I just brought it from Colorado. Clean that out so you can see underneath there. Try not to get too much dust on the cameras. Alright, now we're going to work on this section right in through here, and I'm just going to look down over this and try and decide what I want to do with it. Basically just kind of refine this arc, this curve, without taking away too much of our little profile hole that we've got there. This wood is actually, it's hard, but it's soft, and you could literally take a 60 grit. No, Renos are taking pretty priority over turning right now. Did go take a look at it though. Well, that's always a good start. You could literally take the 60 grit gouge and shape this guy. Just take a sander, but then that wouldn't be wood turning, would it? That would be wood sanding. I'll clean this up. It's a little out of true from when we turned it or put it in the chuck. Just a little bit off of here. Pop in the end camera. See, I don't want to take much away because that's where my hole is. It's going to be our window. Okay. And I already like my profile that I've got over here. That's dusty now, even though I've got my fan going. So with that hole right there, and it's right in the corner of this. So this hole right here, as it comes by, makes I've made it as difficult on myself as possible, or much more difficult than necessary. So here we have the hole, and here's the crown of our turn, the apex of our turn, and we have a void right in the middle of our apex. And so the tool wants to bounce off of this, and this is where we're trying to make this curve the most refined. So it makes your life hard, but then again it makes it cool when the piece is done. Which is what makes the challenge fun. And if you get to where you keep taking more away, if you get to the point where you're taking away too much, then just stop and take your sand into it and clean it up and smooth it out. I actually have to stop. What I'm doing is I can only see so much down here, so I stop and I look back. Now I'm looking out here this way at the profile, and I see what I've done to it, a little hump wise there, because I can't see much down in here. So I picked that right up. Come back, we'll clean that up. So I'm just taking a whole nother pass out of this. And I will go and sharpen this tool up before I finish this, make the final passes. And this particular tool does not have the heel ground away, so as I'm coming around this corner right here, it's going to be real easy to drag that heel if I don't grind it away. Which is kind of fun to practice, trying to make that turn without having it ground away. And every cut with the tool is much better than 5 minutes with the sandpaper. JP popped in for a quick peek. Well, I'm out here having fun, JP. Doing my thing. Having a ball. Playing around. Okay, so you can see we're just taking these light fine cuts off of here now. Still have some tear out because this wood, and if I go, you know, it's weird, I go downhill here, I don't get any tear out downhill here, because I can't come up from inside here now. I get a little bit of tear out, so if I sharpen the tool up nice and sharp, maybe put some sealer on there. I'm also, that's just the very end. I'm looking for the crack, or that's the pith right there. So this could, you know, this section right in here could all come away before it's said and done, to get that pith completely out of the piece. Okay. And up here on the top, I got a hump right up in here, which you can't see in the profile there. So I'm going to pop you here. We're probably just about out of time. 12:55. And again, with the hole up in here, it makes it interesting. I'm actually looking at the top of my toolbox. I have to be careful not to slap my finger with that hole, because I forget that it's not solid. And that took that hump out of it right in there. There's a hump right in there. So here's what we're going to do for the last second or a few minutes here. We're going to figure out a way to get something on here to see what this grain looks like that won't color it. Because that'll be a whole nother question as to what are we going to do for, do we leave this natural? Do we dye it? What do we do? All right, let me see. What have I got here? I know I got lacquer. I got naphtha. Hang on a second. Let me get over here and see if I can get to this naphtha. If it's not empty. Oh no. Naphtha is my favorite for this, actually, because it will show you what, it'll highlight your grain and stuff, and it'll also highlight if you've got, I used to use naphtha all the time, looking for sanding swirls. So when you're doing color, you want to make sure you don't have any sanding swirls left in the piece. Take naphtha, good old naphtha, and flood the piece with naphtha. It won't do anything to it. And get light on it, and you'll see any sanding swirls that might be in there. So naphtha is a great friend. So here we use the official chisel to open the naphtha. That's a naphtha chisel. And I'm just going to flood these paper towels, and I'm going to pop you back in the overhead right there. And I'm curious to see how this grain pops. Let's see what happens here, gang. You'll know when I know, or I'll know when you know, however that goes. So what that tells us is that whatever we do to this, it's going to get a whole lot darker because that wood is so dark right there. And I'll show you the grain on this whole piece. We'll flood this whole piece. This naphtha won't do anything to the piece. But it'll show you kind of what's going to happen when you put anything on it, as far as what's going to be light and dark. See, we got some weird color bands in there. And I'll switch over to the end camera too, because I've seen some interesting things in the end as I do this. So naphtha is your friend. It'll bring out detail for you so that you can see it and have no effect whatsoever on the wood. It's super clean, and it evaporates really quick. Okay. All right, let me pop you to the end camera. And I know it's not zoomed in super tight. And the grain soaks up a ton of it. But you can see how that grain rolls all around up in here. And then it's like walnut, looks like walnut in here. And then the grain comes up, comes around this guy, and then rolls up over here. Show you what those big bands, growth rings, look like across the top. So you can see some crazy growth ring right in there. Let me pop that out. My arm's going to be in the way, I know. I'll pop that out of the way. So that's all that's left of the original other hole, if you will. And now this one will stay. And so when we turn this wall out, this will all open up. Because that one's pretty deep. That's about an inch deep in there. So this will be pretty cool. We'll have a nice window into the piece. I'm just going to pour some of this on, just for grins, on this wood, just to see what that looks like. Amazing how dark that is right in there under that bark. So it would be fun in my world to come in with this piece. This is so dark in here. Maybe dye this a bright yellow or a teal. Something that's not going to affect that brown, and let that brown stay natural right there, and make it a highlight. If we went with green, it might not be the best choice. Thinned down magenta or purple could be kind of fun as well. And now this will dry right out. As you can see, it's starting to dry up. The naphtha just evaporates away super quick like. So that was fun. I mean, so we got a funny little hollow form piece. It's not hollow yet, but we got a nice shape out of that. This is one again where this feature, making this a feature, and the size of the blank. So we had to work within a couple of not constraints but parameters that we had to come up and try and come up with what we think is the most pleasing shape or the best shape we could get from that piece of wood without completely changing it or just doing something completely different with it. I think it's a great way to venture around, experiment with different things. It may not be the most pleasing to the eye, but then again, you could change this completely. You could take this section away, make this really short, and it would be a whole different piece. So if I took all of this off from like there, if we did that, and we made it a different piece with no base whatsoever, it would have a whole different look to it. And that's nothing says we couldn't do that, okay? And we could still do that and keep our window, okay? And then it becomes a bowl. Take the inside out in here, shorten this up a whole bunch, and you have a bowl, you know? So never underestimate a piece of wood. I know there's the classic, phrase or saying from, well, I'll always attribute it to John Jordan because that's where I heard it, is life's too short to turn crappy wood. But by golly, sometimes it sure is fun to see what you can make out of a piece of wood that you might not otherwise do much with or think too much about. Everybody's got their own motive and motivation for doing things. Like I say, I'm rotting a whole piece of wood out there or a whole mountain of wood. So I know I have fun. Again, look for emails, look for posts in social media. Project. It is a project. Product showcase is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll see posts in Facebook. You'll see if you've ever done anything with Spiracraft, you'll get emails about it. There'll be some more videos coming out here this week. It's only a week out. I had to shoehorn it into this slot because of my schedule this fall. But product showcase Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like I say, 11 to 6 essentially Eastern time, and it's going to be a live interactive. Everything is going to be on sale. Come ask questions, the whole bit. I look forward to it. It's a great lot of fun, and I'm going to go get a haircut because I'm going over to have lunch and get a haircut today that I didn't get on Sunday. Thank you, Michael. Hope to see you Thursday night. I will be here. I was Thursday night, guys. I was in the office just hammering down on the woodcraft order. Not woodcraft, excuse me. Woodcut. Say that. It's so close. Art, thank you. It was great fun. Thank you, everybody who hung around today, and hope you picked up lots of good, fun tips. And got questions? Email me, message me, carrier pigeon, any of the things above. I'm dirty, I need a haircut, and I'm hungry. Everybody have a great week. I'll see you Thursday night, possibly. Please join me and register. It is register for the product showcase Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll see the details coming out during the week, covering all the different products that Spiracraft carries. Everybody have a great day. I'm going to leave you with an overhead of this guy, and we'll call it good. We'll put it right there.